Hey everybody, Scott Luton here, Supply Chain Now, here in beautiful Chicago at ProMat 2025. It's basically the center of the universe for all things supply chain, at least this week. And I'm with my friend, Dan Keto with Easy Metrics. Dan, how you doing?
Doing great, Scott.
Wonderful.
Happy to be here.
Man, great to see you again. I've
Yeah,
enjoyed
likewise.
some of our shows we've done together. So I got to ask you, Dan. We got 50,000 people that are going to be here at ProMat this year. Two-part question. What are some of the key themes you're looking forward to? And by the way, you've already told me some of the delicious food you and the team have enjoyed here, huh? Tell me more.
So as far as the key themes today, it's fascinating to see the rapid evolution of supply chain technology. So the last several years, we've seen massive automation technologies enter the market. Now we're seeing the innovation on the software on those technologies. And I really think the next stage is going to be using the data from those technologies to really optimize your warehouse. And that's this big evolution we're going through with artificial intelligence, machine learning. And it's going to be really interesting to see how companies are trying to adopt these new technologies and integrate them into their products to really get the maximum return on investment.
It's a fascinating time. I've been referring to it as the latest and greatest golden age of supply chain tech. And I really appreciate what you and the Easy Metrics team are doing to help fuel that forward. But before we keep going, you've told me about some delicious food you had here in Chicago last night.
Yeah, we went to Cortino's last night, which is, I believe, the oldest Italian restaurant in Chicago. And man, I can't recommend it enough. It was truly spectacular meal. It's family style, but very authentic Italian, beautiful Italian family that runs it. So if you have a chance, definitely go there. It's good food.
Thank you for making me starve here Monday morning.
We have to leave tonight.
That's right. We'll fit it somewhere. All right, so big news out of Easy Metrics here recently is you've launched a new product called Profit Management. Tell us more about it.
So the bleeding neck problem we've noticed in the industry, especially the third-party logistics industry, which is a big portion of the supply chain, is getting timely data on profitability and cost in your operations. And so working with some of our 3PL partners, we've created a product we call Profit Management, where we're basically able to ingest either the rate cards for the operation or the revenue models and integrate that with all the activity costing of the equipment, the labor, the facilities, and basically show them a daily profit analysis of every aspect of their operation. And so this real-time feedback really helps those managers adapt quickly to changes that are occurring in the workflow, in the operation, so it speeds that communication to the C-suite as to the effectiveness of the operation. Historically, companies will often have to wait several weeks after the month end before they really know how they performed, and we're able to show them that basically daily. Here is your operating margin by customer, by employee, by process, or whatever. And so that price visibility really drives a lot of investment opportunities and engineering opportunities to make the operation as profitable as possible.
Oh, I love it. Making better decisions faster in a very timely decision, and they're data driven. Instead of waiting a month for the data to make the better decisions, you've got it every day, it sounds like.
And that goes back to the theme that we talked about in the beginning. We're going through this automation, software evolution, but those are just frameworks. Then you have the data that flows through these systems.
Right.
And it's how do we optimize that data? How do we understand that data? How do we marry that data to our operation so we can see every aspect of our business the way we want to see it? Profit, engineering quality, process quality, employee performance quality.
Well, I'm glad you went there. What else would you add in terms of how it's going to be used by the customers or some of those bottom line benefits beyond what you've already shared?
Supply chain is becoming hyper complex. So we now are layering in robotic systems, automation systems, forklifts with telematics, just large CapEx investments mixed with labor. And it's very difficult now for these companies to extract exactly how they're doing. So we have a lot of companies come to us and say, can you show us if we're getting an ROI on this investment? because the data is all muddled with everything else. So
Right.
how do you extract out that information? And so that's what we've been able to do with our profit management models and cost management models, is by using the activities going through these technologies, we are able to then apply a cost per unit, and from there you can extract quickly if I'm getting an ROI on the investment or not.
Simplifying.
Yeah. And it's all the magic's done on the back end. So for the customers, like, here's my profit, here's my ROI, they get to see real time what is going on, and then they can say, hey, this technology is fantastic, let's bring it across our network and do our other facilities.
Yep. All right, so Dan, based on everything you've shared, I see someone in the back raising their hand saying, but what kind of data does all this require? What will be your response?
It's an evolutionary process. At a minimum, we need warehouse management data, and we need the time clock data, because that gives us the labor cost structure.
Right.
But also we tap into the automation data. So I have, conveyor lines, I have, auto store systems and so forth, getting the unit volume transactions, when that's occurring, coming through the system. I then am able to find out what the cost of that equipment is, apply that to the activity, marry that to the work that the labor's doing, and you basically stack each of your costs onto that unit that's going through the facility.
Okay.
And so we can start simple, which is always the WMS and the time clock, but then from there we build out into these other systems as they come online and are available.
And if I do recall, Dan, you're a big fan of not waiting till you got perfect data, right?
Absolutely.
And get started right away. And if I heard you say correctly, improve, enhance, and optimize all along the way, right?
Yeah, our origins was from labor management. And so one of our philosophies was, look, don't worry about the productivity, just find out where the waste is. And we found that most operations would be missing 50% of the visibility into the labor. And so by just shining the light on where these gaps are, you start to fill those gaps, then you start to squeeze out the waste in the system, and you start driving ROI. And so it's really about visibility, transparency, as fast as possible, because the operators have the intelligence there to make the right decisions to run the business. They just don't often have that information. And data doesn't lie, but sometimes your observations do.
Yeah. Practical innovation is what I'm hearing here. And I love, that's my favorite kind. I'm a practical type of guy. All right, question.
Yes,
is
sir.
this only meant for the 3PL industry, or is there other sectors that may benefit?
We actually are getting a lot of traction now with traditional retailers. If you look at the decision process often made in large corporations, do I outsource or do I do it internal? So we have a synthetic P&L model we can run for them, where we can take what would be a comparable rate card for those services if they were to outsource that, and then they can benchmark each of their operations against what a comparable 3PL would charge them to understand, is it better for me to do it internal, or is it better for me to outsource? And so then you can actually start running your supply chain as a profit center, which is really what Amazon has done very well, is that they've taken that supply chain and use that as a leverage point to build that relationship with the customer. And that same sort of mentality needs to ripple through the rest of the retail industry. So we feel that this model will really give that transparency, again, for ROI, but also better decisions for how you manage your supply chain.
Love that. That's the big theme here. I think one of them, better, more timelier, more confident decision making. Love it. And having the data you need to do just that. Every
It's all about the
single
data.
day. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right, so Dan, 50,000 people here. You got no shortage of activities going on this week. But if folks want to tap into profit management or some other cool things you are doing at Easy Metrics, how can they track you down?
Easiest way is just go to our website at www.easymetrics.com. It's just spelled just like it sounds. And then I'm also giving a lecture today on artificial intelligence and machine learning in, I think it's Studio G at 10:30. So this is going to be talking about how to leverage data with these newer technologies to drive those efficiencies we just discussed.
Dan, I bet it's going to be standing room only. I've seen you in
Hope so.
action. It will be. Folks, I've been talking here with Dan Keto with Easy Metrics. Make sure to connect with him after ProMat. And stay tuned as I meet more movers and shakers here at ProMat 2025 right here in beautiful Chicago, Illinois. And you can tune into all of our episodes over at Supply Chain Now on YouTube.